Guys, doing another session. Hopefully y'all enjoy, cause this is gonna be probably easier right here, cause we're only gonna be doing the bandana right now, and I'm gonna go with the one we've been using so that we can keep it safe. They say that you should always have your pencils sharpened, and I don't have my sharpener, but I don't think it's completely like a delicate situation right now. I do not feel like going back inside. But just gonna start from the bottom right here, I guess. You see, like this is already dark though right here. This section, just to make it clear, I'm gonna darken it more. But you wanna like, this is what I'm gonna do to trick it out a little bit. I'm gonna add like little fur details, so that way the bandana looks more like textured. Sort of like the hair right here. You know that the hair is textured, but you wanna really concentrate on this one because I might still work on this side. And it's important to take your time. It's important to make sure that, what do you call it, that nothing catches your attention. Like right now, this nose is catching my attention big time. Like it looks kind of like big and throbbing and all that. So if you like add little hairs right here on this end, then it might just take the attention off a little bit. Especially because you have way more details to work on everywhere else. Sort of might even make the whole drawing look 3D, piece, tattoo, whatever you want it to be at the end. So this is the little hairs that I'm adding to it. Kind of want to just go crazy. You don't want to be too consistent about it because fur isn't really too consistent. You want to just sort of throw a bunch of X's on there. And after this, what you want to do is start from the bottom and fade it out from the top. Maybe even right here. I'm risking it a little bit right here because I'm sort of not planning it too much. It's that freaking simple. So right here you have two lights, like sort of the way this looks on skin. This one's hard to explain. You have wrinkles or where the wave of the clothes goes in, and you want to just start from right here and sort of trick the whole thing into existence, I guess. I sort of like the pencil not sharpened because you can shade out, but the quality does look a lot more often. So like you see the wrinkles already kind of popping out if you don't see it. If you concentrate just right here, you see the sort of like the way the clothes. I don't have any reference. I don't feel like pulling one out. I'm hoping y'all just learn how to get really imaginative real quick. And I'm already seeing that I should add more fur up here just to put the texture in. So you just want to go in. You don't want to think twice when you know that. When you're having fun and all that. I see that the wrinkle stuff doesn't go even expand all the way right here, and that's a problem. But you sort of want to act like you know what you're doing a little bit, and just, man, it's really tricky, man. So this one is going to be the most important step, I think. Because the hair, you could easily just go fast and do it simple. Sort of the way all this darkness took time to do. So like whenever you're focused on this area right here, you just kind of want to go as you please, and everything just pops out. Your imagination pops out whenever you're having fun. Believe it or not, you sort of see where everything you have to fix. You have to see everything. You could see everything that's an issue. You can see a lot of things, but for the most part, taking your time, uh, committing yourself to the project and to the drawing and to the person who you're tattooing or doing the art for, it's really important. And what else? Sort of just have fun with it. Have fun with your life. Have fun with whatever art piece you got going, and make sure you don't complicate yourself a little too much with it, because that could be bad for stress. Sort of, you could even just stop the process if you need to, and usually that's rare. And yeah. Shit, look, you see that? That's not good. So I'm gonna go inside and get the pencil sharpener because this is not gonna work real quick. And I could just jump into 5B, but that's really dark. B, and I'm guessing. Oh wait, this is the one I was using. Yeah, things like that happen. But see, this one, for some reason, the label on this you can't see. If you try, if you take 3 minutes to look at this, you'll find out what it is. But initially, I thought this one was the lightest one. This is F. I think this is H. And it looks like this could be darker, but this is like real difficult to figure out. All right. So mistakes like that happen. You want to contribute that into your art, and sort of just go with it. The cool thing about it is that you're using a different pencil, and switching it sort of just adds to the texture of to your bandana. And if you know about the periodic table, everything is different. So whenever you sort of use your imagination or think into detail that this is different, a different quality or different texture from the skin and the hair, and using two different completely pencils makes that way more obvious. And it's two different, because in fact, I'm not sure if I'm getting way too detailed into this, but you have different a different quality or different. This is a different completely thing than this. So these are way too different because of the shade is different. You have one that's darker and one that's lighter. So whatever you use to create this, the aftermath of it all is completely different from this one. So if you put everything in a periodic table, these two would be in two different. If you want to get into details, these two would be in two different squares. So that's a good part. That's why I was saying the more the merrier on the first video that I did for this drawing. And you just really have to be doing drawings for like 29 years to really figure little dumb stuff up like that. Figure little things like that. And the tattoo artists, a lot of basic artists aren't going to tell you that. They're not going to get into that kind of stuff. They probably don't even know anything about it. It's very rare for people to find stuff out like that. But yeah, now you know. No, you're welcome. So, that right there, see, mm, sort of, looks good. I'm still trying to figure out um, how I'm gonna deal with this inside because it doesn't look good built in. It's just a stencil. So glad I took the step to do that. Um, Now the name, I'm gonna be covering up the name maybe, and it is just a stencil, so I could like go over the whole thing and then maybe erase just a little bit. But I'm just gonna go around it for right now because it is important to have your name on there. Just from what I learned from day one, that's the first thing they teach you in kindergarten and any kind of work that you do. They just teach you how to put your name on there. I'm still trying to figure out. See, man, this one you can really take your time. This is the fun part because you know that you want this to look realistic. So when you see little mistakes like that, or you're not sure, it's fun to erase because you're starting to figure out how what do you call it? How you can manipulate yourself into thinking that this is actual cloth, like an actual bandana. And this is all from the top of my head. I have no references. This is all just by sort of experiencing or what do you call it? Experimenting, yeah. Because you always want to experiment when you're doing something new or when you're working on another project. Now this looks way more fuzzy than the hair. It makes everything else look cartoonish. So that just kind of validates me to darken all this out. So that's the fun part. I have no idea how long the video is gonna go. Last time, coincidentally, there is such thing as coincidence. That's why the world made that word up and put it in a dictionary. I had mentioned on my last video. I'm probably not gonna talk about it right now. But it was something funny that I feel that is worth mentioning as far as just getting it out of my head. It's funny, I think. And I could apply it to this drawing that I'm doing, but I don't really see it going too well. Alright, I don't like the way this bottom part is going out at all. It makes me want to cover up the whole name. And I think I'm just gonna fade it out, sort of like the way this looks. I'm gonna have the name sort of like diagonal. I mean, like if I were to put the name diagonal right here, the darkness from the bottom and the darkness from the top, like fading the way it fades, that's how I want the bottom to be, as far as like dark to light. We'll see how it goes though. Risk it all. I mean, I don't advise for y'all to take anything that I say in consideration because I say dumb shit all the time. But that's just the language that I use when I'm drawing because it's really what you're doing. Like already mentioned in another video. I think that I might bringing that up a couple times. All right, now I can talk about the coincidence. How that word becomes even in existence. Last time I did my video for drawing, I mentioned how I didn't want this video to cut off because I might look dumb. And as soon as I said dumb, the video cut off. And the video is like 30 minutes long or something, 45, 55 minutes long. That's a big coincidence. Or coincidence. There is no big or small coincidence, just the word and its existence. I think it could be a scary thing when people think about it too much. Whenever doing the tattoos that I've done, meeting the people that I've met, they take that word really serious. Cause people they have a passion for it more than I do, and they say that it's a coincidence that I'm their artist, and that makes me feel great. That makes me feel like I'm on top of the world. But it's still kind of scary to think about whenever people do use that term a little bit. So right here, I'm just fading out the corners because you don't want to have a hard stop with the fur right here. You sort of want to just introduce to the people who are watching or looking at your piece, your tattoo, or your art, and you want to introduce them to real life. It's just the best way I can subscribe it. Subscribe it or something. So right here, maybe just sort of lighten it. That looks good. It's not promising because this is already gray. That's fair enough actually. Now, this is starting to look better, but in a sense, for me, it is. Because I'm starting to see an entrance somewhere. I don't know if y'all see it. Crap. There's a bunch of bugs today. And these are just little crawlers. They're not like mosquitoes, which I've been bit just earlier, just now. And, alright. Without getting sidetracked, this thing right here does not look good. But right here, the fur, you see how it's textured right here? You sort of want to apply that to this. And it might mess everything up. But you cannot be scared. Just like that. And I already don't like it, but then sort of the way I did it over here, just sort of just go with the flow and blend everything in. Right? It's not fun if you're not selling it and making money yourself, but it is if you're learning something you've never learned before. Now this right here, fade this out. This is badass because you have this light that reflects off the bandana, and you could sort of bring it to life on that one, on that end. Since not everything is bright, and you just sort of add the definition to the shape and the color. You fool yourself into thinking, what color might it be? And sort of brings it to life like everything else. So that looks good. I'm not sure if I should keep going or if I should just add more fur, But this side I'm not liking it right now. I think I just want to shade all this in a little bit and see where it looks like shit. This looks like shit and this looks like shit. And what I'm about to do right now is just gonna make it look more like shit. The reason is probably because I already used two different types of shades of pencils, and it's fur. So it's really hard to work with these things when people take clothes serious. People like Gucci belts and all that, but I think the risk was worth it all. As you can see, I think I just finished that part. Now, I could just go in on these little details and sort of like, that's probably what I'm just gonna do. Make sure there's no scratches, there's nothing missing. Because the lines, remember I mentioned on this side, you wanna, if y'all saw the other videos, there's lines and you don't wanna see that. So, you wanna just blend everything in as much as you can. Take them lines out and introduce the fur for what it is. There's no line in fur. I mean, there probably is, but in the world of drawing, there is no lines. As far as this experiment goes, there's no scratches. Just want to smoothen everything out. It almost feels like you're doing even more to it, which deserves explanation, but this is the part where in last video I explained. And you just, sometimes this part is just practice from here. It's not really anything else but to make sure there's no scratches. There's no real technique to this part. Man, name, for me to leave the signature, to choose this signature right here, took me like, since I was young, like in O'Banion Middle School. This is when I made up this signature and I stuck with it since then. Sort of got it from, I got the G from somewhere. I like the way someone did their G, and then the J, I have no idea where I got the J from. I think I got the J from somebody, but and I just decided to do the words individually. I thought it looked cool. I think I was the only one who did it, and I wanted to be unique as hell, so that's what I did. I sort of don't want to mess with this anymore. I kind of want to just start on the hair, but y'all know how I get when I do that. Let's see how long the video's been going. 23 minutes. So that's not bad. I sort of want to start on the background then, in that case, but I didn't even think twice about doing the background. I know that there's not supposed to be any lines. Earlier on, I sort of made up my mind that I wanted to fill this part in, but I'm starting to think maybe I should go out instead, and then maybe do the same thing on this side. But I'm not sure if that's gonna look corny or not. I don't like anything to look corny, so I mean, that's just as far as, you know, making your art look good and having someone eat a hot dog in front of it. You know, like if they feel comfortable doing that, you should have them eating sushi in front of this instead. So yeah, I've got issues when it comes to thinking that far ahead, but I don't have an issue doing art at all, so it's something that I really need to think about. I think if I do the inside right here the way I said I was gonna do it, I'll be able to just start on the hair and I'll be way more comfortable, and sort of the hair have another chaotic moment the same way I did with the bandana. and that's what you want to live for. Because in the art industry, you don't have any chaotic moments. You're sitting down on a chair just doing your thing, and you want to like tangle up your mind as much as you can. That is the only chaotic moment you will have, other than sharpening a pencil and having sharp objects near you. Uh, yeah, I remember being in alternative school. They wouldn't allow you to have pencils because it's a sharp object. But everybody knew that I drew really well, and they were like, see, I already don't like the way it's coming out. Everybody knew that I drew really well, and so they just let me through the metal detector with pencils and everything, and I was happy as hell. I was like, hell yeah. These guys, this is the best school ever, which is probably not the best thing to say, but they really did help me out a lot, and I'm thankful for it. See, this line, you really want to get out of there, though, so this is a scary part right here, because your line is dark as shit, and it's not supposed to be. So you sort of regret making a stencil the way you did, but I think it might complement the realism later on. You see what I mean? I'll explain it right now. So I should probably sharpen this pencil now. It's looking good already, I think. Alright, see this part right here? You just want to like let it go out. This is dark, right? But as real as this is looking to me, and this, or the way this looks real, it sort of looks realistic like this. And it scares the shit out of me because you have something that's already working, and it's like you don't know if this is gonna take you on top, say like make you the world's famous painting. That's how scary it is, and you just want to like run away real quick from it. So that's what I do all the time, so I can continue working in my own pace. Now, that's why fixing lines like this isn't a big problem when it comes to that. Now, what do you call it? I think I'm gonna stop on that end and start doing stencil work again, even though you think that you're done after doing it, but you're not. You want to add way more stencils. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna add lines like this. This could complicate the whole thing, but you really don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you're taking it easy as much as you can, and sort of be happy with the little things that you do next. And it's already coming out terrible. See, I feel like I already went too far on that one. Just want to erase that. What else? That's good. Now I feel like I can start on the bottom here, right here. I sort of want to go on the neck right here, but I don't see enough details, so I'm gonna just keep sort of working my magic. And so now I'm thinking I should make the hair real dark, like black, like the pupil eye dark black. But if you remember the video, the pupil is the darkest part of the whole drawing. 5B. You have 5B, 4B, and B. This one's F, and this one's the one I've been working with. These three are the darkest ones. I used 5B, which is the darkest one. You don't want to use this one because that's the pupil. And I think we're just gonna 4B is way too close to the pupil, so I think we're just gonna go along with the B. And this is scary because B is not the darkest, so the pupil will come out, but for sure it's gonna be darker than what you have. At least you'll be safe on that end. And if worst case scenario, you could always use darker shades to sort of make it even pop out. So it's now that I think about it, it's actually a good idea. Take your time. Make sure that you know what you're doing. You sort of pick one process that you want to do and stick with it. As far as like me, I'm thinking about, my mind is going crazy right now talking about, man, I should probably do this instead, do like this, because here you got so many options. But stick to one. You don't want to drive yourself crazy at all. And this for me is therapeutic enough as it is. I don't really know if it's supposed to stress you out or not. Because when I did tattoos, man, tattoos just stressed me out. I got to the point where I had to stop and be like, nope, I'm gonna have to do your tattoo another day. I don't feel good. And sometimes it's immediately after doing the drawing or before starting the tat, or as soon as the person gets there, I'm just like, nah, I'm not gonna do it because I don't feel good. I don't feel right. I'm stressed. And it could be for a lot of reasons, but you don't want to blame your customers, and you just want to blame yourself, because that is the responsible thing to do. I do have a lot of secrets up my sleeve that I don't want to just put out there. But if I'm doing a video and it's for y'all, I'm gonna have to tell y'all. So right here I started just solid black. I want to put all this solid, make it all solid. And the secret to this is that you sort of want to, like, you see realism here, you see realism here, you see realism here. So the only natural thing to do is make the hair realistic as much as you can on that end. You start dark. In real life, I don't have any references, nor do I need any. I'm explaining it earlier. But you just have to trust me on my word on this one. Dark, reflection, and dark again. You could just do another reflection here, but you don't want to go that far in. So you just want to do all this solid dark and expect some reflection here, maybe right here, stuff like that. If you get the idea already. No reference needed, sort of by experience, by what you see in real life. Mainly, you don't want to use other drawings as a reference. Say, oh, I've seen drawings that do that. Like, no, you want to use real life as the original reference. Sure, you can compare the two and argue about it, but it's really just the reference that counts. So, which is, that one, stick to one thing and do that. So black, reflection, black, and then you have this right here. Which this could go far in, or I could just let it go, but sometimes you just gotta see how that turns out, and then keep going. So I think I'm just gonna talk about this out. I'm chancing it right here. Everything could look like shit for all I know. And it's not so far. So you sort of just want to start from the forehead out, and right here you want to blend it in your own time. Man, drawings are not easy, dude. There's so much that goes into like right now I just picked up a pencil and just started using it. Like, you gotta be careful with shit like that, or just use it and be like, okay, I did that on purpose. You gotta have some kind of sense of humor when you're doing this. If not, man, you're in for one lonely ride. So right here, there's some hairs and scabs. You want to get, this is a little bit more advanced, but the scalp, you have the hair that comes out a little bit. So that's that part. That's one. I'm blending all this, and I'm thinking about just darkening all this up, regardless of what I said. The hair is gonna drive me crazy. It's fun. Video should be cutting off anytime soon. See, that looks terrible. But I got a couple tricks up my sleeve. You would think that doing this, you could just whoosh, go crazy, right? But nah, you want to take your time, and you kind of sort of can just go crazy, but you want to make sure that you don't forget if these reflections are still gonna be incorporated or whatever into your art piece. So we have this right here. I think I would just want to do the reflection right here, because I'm looking at this, how it's turning out, and you see these reflections right here, and it looks perfect. So to just put one in right here. Magic, just like that. Badass. I'm not sure if I was gonna add more reflection to it. I think I was going to, and I think I am. That way. It's getting hard. See, this is where everything can go to shit, because you have all these possibilities, and then you just sort of just looking at everything, and it's so what I'm gonna do is see this, right? It goes dark, and then this if you don't understand this part, I understand. You have to be really strong-minded to understand what I'm about to say. Dark right here, reflection, dark, reflection, and sort of dark, because you have another reflection right here. So that's sort of how it works. I was gonna just leave this reflected right here on this end, but since I sort of tweaked this side and put a reflection on those two, it sort of seems fair now to just blend all this in, make up your mind, stick with that type of deal. But yeah, that looks fucking great. You can call yourself an artist after all this time, man. looks good. Now, what else? Sort of this thing right here could sort of fade out the hair, like, don't. It's because every hair has fuzz at the end, so you want to just tease that part in there. That's a big deal right there. Some people literally put little hairs, or the way I do it though, and I don't see anybody doing this. Just fade it out, like if it was some sort of simple dimension, and that's so that I can make it realistic. People would probably think that I'm crazy, or that there is way more better technique to do that, and I'm just kind of like, I'm like sitting here. I feel like I'm up the ladder while they're sort of complaining about it or learning. All right, so dark, reflection, 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 reflection. And right here, you wanna think about what you're gonna do on this side in this case. And then right away when I said that, I started concentrating on the eyelashes, because if you know, if you know, you know. But this is hair and this is hair, but sometimes the eyelashes could just be drawn on there, the way girls do, or it could be actual hair that it's plucked out and all that. Crap, did I just do that? I just sure did. So you have to decide whether you want the hair to be real or you want it to be makeup. Which I don't really give a fuck about that. I'm just more like, I think I'm just gonna leave it that way. And I sort of want to darken this whole thing out right here, because that way the reflection on that's coming out here is it's coming out good. And if I had a reflection right there, which I just thought about, it would look like a gray smoky, like greasy hair, and you don't want that. So let's dig deep into this real quick. Chance it. This be right. See, and earlier I added some stencils on here with the lighter one, but completely doesn't matter right now. None of that stuff matters right now. Just your work. I appreciate everyone who's watching and going through all these videos. Going through the whole video sort of makes me feel like I have a purpose in life and stuff like that. Nobody wants to feel pointless, or I'll leave that for a therapy session or something. Nah, you don't want your life to feel pointless, and sort of having supporters and people sort of being uplifted by your work, or sort of drawn into doing better things just by looking at your work, certainly does the job as far as being worth something. And everybody's worth something. I think art, it only gets more expensive. It doesn't decrease. But I feel that that's everybody. I feel like people just increase in value the more time that you live here on Earth and stuff. And you become more valuable. You don't forget where you come from, and you add everything that you do to what you're doing now. It's sort of like art piece. You want to make the art piece look better and better. So to me, you only increase in value, not decrease. And that's for even like bugs, believe it or not. This is tricky because I don't want to like smudge all my work that I just did, so I gotta like cripple myself into doing this out right here, which I hate doing. This is the worst part for me, at least. But it's important. Usually you want to get a sheet of paper and go over it, as I mentioned on my last video. But doing that right now. Sort of just trying to have fun. Could be against the law as far as my world goes. I'm doing this for videos. That looks good. Let's make sure the video hasn't cut off on me. Oh, crap. Wow, 46 minutes in. Blessed, man, blessed. I think I pick up on a lot of traits as far as my character goes, because if it wasn't for the people that I hang out with, I would probably be something completely different. Like, because as an artist, you're just a blob, I think, of a creator, you know, and you are the people who you hang out with. I am the people that I'm hanging out with, because, you know, I would just be if I was a lonely person, I would be something else completely, like a quiet person. But since I do hang out with people, I have to give them credit for being the person that I am, as far as my sense of humor, and not being lonely, and not being this thing that everybody usually goes through being. That looks like an ear right there. I almost just sort of went over it. Just to double check and recheck. You have I know I said that you just want to pick one and just go with it, but let me think. This is dark. This is because right here you could drive yourself crazy at this point. You might need therapy, but just do drawing like this. Let me go with it. Drawing, dark reflection, and then you have this reflection here, this whole grease, and you don't want it to be grease, so right here is a piece of hair too, so if I do not put any grease on this at all, this all could look like a wig. Or just a really solid dull piece. And if this looks dull, this isn't gonna look so dull. It's gonna look kind of fucked up. So in order to keep this consistent, I sort of have to make up my mind to see if I'm gonna put any grease or not. The grease could go here, or I can add a little bit there. So again, dark grease, dark grease, dark grease. Dark grease. So I'm gonna leave that the way it is, because I'm not even sure. So to make sure that I know what I'm doing, I'm just gonna fill this, or start up here instead. Right here I could probably add grease, and worst comes to worst, I could just fill it back in. It sort of sounds irresponsible, but it seems way more irresponsible for me not to try. Yeah, if it wasn't for the people that I could show this to, I would not be doing this. anybody who's looking, and anybody I send it to. Some people, advertisement is important. So is your family. And what else? Sort of all like as far as I can go. So that's grace right there. And everything else in. Yeah, I think I might leave the grease because the grease is gonna look like this is gonna be a whole style for future trend, whole trend. You don't want to do what everybody's doing now, you know, or everything you've already seen. Looks good. The video might cut off anytime soon. Not rushing. But, you know, if it did cut off, good, because this is a whole part people are just bored to look at. Or it could be the most important part, depending where your head is at with art. Alright, that looks good. Don't too much grease to it. Alright, there's that part. And sort of just keep going. Get the rhythm going. Go in on it. Alright, so I'm glad as hell that the mosquitoes aren't biting like they did the other time. You couldn't notice by watching the video, but I was suffering very bad, very bad. More, maybe. That's kind of scary. But I hope y'all like what y'all watching, man. I hope y'all can look more into who I am. See the rest of the videos I have out there. Don't judge. Try to be open about where I'm coming from. As far as what it took for me to get here. Yep. Sometimes I gotta look down here at the bandana and the arm to remember what I'm doing. Some people don't want to do that though. You don't want to keep having to look at something just to be reminded. You sort of just want to know what you're doing and that's it. But I think that is fairy tale. Right now I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, it's possible just to do a bunch of grease and make it look clean as hell. Beautiful. But I really don't feel like trying in a sense of, well, what the hell, man? Crap. These mosquitoes are coming in, but alright, now This is probably why I didn't want to do all that, because now I gotta think about whether it was a good idea or not, which is sort of what you do throughout the whole process. But again, it's sort of showing me that it's not. Chaos, guys, chaos. Beautiful chaos. But what are you strive for? As far as maybe money, you know. Oh man. Yeah, the video cut off. I was right about this whole part being boring, depending on who you are. Man, I'm gonna have to appreciate this girl on Instagram. Send her a picture and see what she says. I guess I've done one model before. I haven't done one since then. I think one of these, and she loved it. But I'm not gonna say what she said, but she was happy. She liked it. She was surprised. Alright, looks good, man. Looks very good. Charcoal stove. We did a lot today, shit. Didn't think I was gonna go this far. This part is bugging me a little bit. I'm just gonna fill it in a little bit more. Looks good. Sometimes I'm wondering if the tarp in the background is ruining it, but it's actually helping. Or not. Sort of see the texture when you're filling everything in. But it could be a fix, maybe not. Let's review the grease or the hair. You got dark grease, dark grease, dark grease, and then you have the realistic hair. You want to blend all this stuff in. Keep going. And hair is the hardest part, though. It's also what makes you feel like an artist. Because I've done like hair and I've taken my time on it, and it's always what makes people like it wows them, right? It's like it's what amazes people the most, I think. And I sort of like drawing people somewhere else, though, for the most part. As far as just, I don't want to amaze them. I want to make them think about their life and seeing if, let them sort of make them try something new. Like if I amaze them, okay, great, amazing. They're amazed. They're gone. They'll forget about it, or they'll remember it. But they'll remember it like, oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was amazing. Oh, that's cool. That's it, right? Like you get points for it and everything, but that's it. I mean, you get points, and cool. What's that gonna do for you, other than take you into places or collab you with people who have points too, which isn't my ordeal. I've done it. Maybe that's why I'm just kind of over it already. I'm sort of just creating to draw people into something else, which is maybe music, Ariana Grande, and The Rock, and Demi Lovato, and Ramona Ayala, this model right here. And I think that's why I do what I do. I'll amaze those people, connect with those people, know, if that amazes people, that's the credit that I want. It's going good so far, though. I don't like it anymore. The video's going on for an hour, bro. What the hell? Record. Alright. I could start from the back of the ear right here. Straight to the point. Black, grease, grease, black, grease, black. And he used to have this right here. I almost missed. I think I'm just gonna color the whole thing black. But then you have this. So I think adding 2 more greases right here is not a bad idea. So I'm gonna start maybe by the hair right here, the we call it the sideburns. And maybe I should switch colors, but I'm just gonna risk it and use the same one. Life's a risk, carnal. This one, you kind of want to add the pattern of fuzz, you know. That's sort of what you do here, and hopefully you don't have to like make it a completely solid thing. But if you have to, if you must, you will and should. So keep going. Chance it. Sweaty a little bit. It's looking good though. So I think it's looking good. Kind of want to stop right there. Man. And that's what we're gonna do. I appreciate y'all watching. And I might have forgot y'all were watching for a minute there, but we're gonna cut it off and start with a new session next time.